Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The Good Life. We're here to live the good life. Day 2 of the 5-day Bombshell Bootcamp. Welcome, welcome. Where are you tuning in from? Let me make sure we're in all the places and spaces. Today we're talking about confidence. So drop some comments in the chat. What makes you feel confident? Are you confident? Let me know. Let me know. Where are you at in the world? Come on in. I'm going to share this. There we go. Make sure we're sharing it in the right places and spaces. There we go. Boom. All right. How are we feeling? Let me know in the comments how you're doing. Let's see. All right, so we are good there. Let's see, go live. Make sure we... All right, there we go. Now we're live on Instagram. There we go. Okay, cool. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to do a quick recap from day 1. If you missed yesterday was getting down to the core. And I think so often with technology, we lose sight because there's so much noise. There's so much stuff out there, right? And so yesterday we talked about who we are to our core. So this week we're going through the 5-day Bombshell Bootcamp. It's releasing the freedom formula to live our healthiest, happiest, wealthiest version of us. Come with me. So it includes getting true to our core values. And yesterday we talked about having faith, fitness, family, and fun, and freedom, and flexibility, and all the F words. So this week we're going through some F words and some C words. But this is a family show. We don't swear over here. This is The Good Life, a beautiful song by Tante. Beautiful energy. So maybe you're gonna have a little dance party. Make sure you have a notebook nearby, your H2O or your beverage, mocktail. Come with me. All right, come with me every single day this week, 12 to 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, same station, same awesome channel, but different content each day. And today's message is all about confidence. So I want to hear from you. So let me know in the comments, where are you at in the world, and what is your take on confidence? How do you feel confident? When do you feel confident? What makes you feel confident? And most importantly, what takes you out of feeling confident? Okay, so I think this week we're quieting the noise and we're getting true to who we are beneath the surface, beneath the titles, beneath the uniform, beneath the job that you have, or the title or the role that you play in many other people's lives. And so one of the biggest things that I have learned with confidence, day 2, thank you. Yes, Jackie, thank you so much for being here. And I remembered to post it in the other group today. So thank you so much for tuning in. And we're going to talk about community on Thursday. But Jackie is that one person that helps me see the most confident version of me. She helps build consistency and community and uplifting, just daily, just even hearing from her daily. So sometimes we have to borrow some confidence from other people until we believe it ourselves. So we're going to talk a little bit about confidence today, what this means for us. But then as we go through the week, we're going to talk about more habits and consistency tomorrow, because I think consistency in our healthy habits is also what ties to our confidence, but also community ties to confidence. And then celebration on Friday ties to our confidence. So this is all an inner and outer body, like dance. I'm a dancer. I've been dancing since the day I could walk. And so I think the more that we understand that everything is connected and we're constantly dancing through our life, whether it be alone or with other people. I want today to be a solo dance. And some of y'all are like, oh gosh, I don't want to be in front of the camera. I don't want to be on a stage. I don't want to do anything solo. I don't want people watching me. So if that's you, you're not alone, A. And B, I want to give you some tips and strategies because here's the deal. We are not meant to do life alone. And there's going to be some times in our life that we need to step up. We need to step up on that stage. We need to speak up. We need to go after our dreams and goals. And it's going to take a little confidence. And it's going to take some what I call courageous confidence, especially if you're navigating seasons of change. And that's actually what I go through in this freedom formula is how to have courageous confidence despite life's pressures, stressors, when shift hits the fan, when shift happens in your life, in your marriage, in your career, as a caretaker. A lot of things happen in our life. Change is inevitable. And when life happens, when shift happens, we tend to go back to what we call a beginner's mindset. And we forget that we've actually been through some hard things and we've made it through 100% of the times that we've been through. And so our confidence gets knocked off. And then we look at people on the internet or our mentors or our leaders in our community and we put them on a pedestal. And then we compare ourselves and that knocks us down even more. Raise your hand if that's been you. And then we have all the noise of the negative mindset of the times that we don't think we're good enough. We don't think we're smart enough to go after that. We're not making enough money. Whatever the case is, whatever the story is, we tend to believe those stories and then they run on repeat, which keeps us at a capped level. Kids these days are saying no cap. And the easiest way I describe no cap is beyond limits. My way. Maybe I'm saying it completely wrong. Kids these days, right? You know that you've made it in some sort of wisdom circle when you say kids these days. But literally, no cap. So what if you walked around with no limits, with no cap? What if you showed up confidently, courageous confidence with no cap? No cap to the limits that you can go after, no cap to the dreams that you can go after, no cap to the money that you can achieve, that you can make, no cap to the relationships that you can be in. What if you walked into every single door frame and every single day and you put your 2 feet down and you say, no cap, no limits? That's courageous confidence. So how do we get there? All right, I'm going to give you some tips today. Yesterday, we went over our core, who we are to our core. We talked about our posture and our body language. We don't want to be like this, okay? So I study body language and human behavior. I've been doing this for a very long time. I study the brain and psychology and personalities and So I see what people don't say. And that's one of my superpowers. And that's why a lot of people tell me, Crystal, no one has been able to reach me on an energetic and a compassionate level and an emotional level as you have. You see things and you reflect things back to me that I couldn't put into words. And the way that you do that, and that is just such a beautiful gift. And I received that gift through some really challenging times in my life. I'll tell you that. Because I've been in the depths of despair and depression and anxiety, and I've been through betrayal, physical, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, like you name it, I've been through it. So I'm able to meet people where they're at. So I know that negative mindset when it shows up physically on people's bodies. So when we talked about who we are to our core, showing up with a beautiful posture, making sure that you're in alignment of what the inner world is saying and your outer world is saying. We're going to go over that inner and outer body experience a little bit more today. But your posture, how do you show up? Ask yourself, check yourself. right? Guess what? AI can't see that. If you have a conversation, they don't see your body language, they don't see your posture. They may hear your voice inflection. By the way, I have a voice analyzer on my website now, which is super cool. So it can tell, we can hear from your voice inflection some of the limiting beliefs. And I do this with my work with my coaching clients as well, and at the retreats. So your body posture and your inflection, everything matters, because you're expanding what is actually happening in your inner body is emitting as energy in your outer body. So your clothing, your energy, your posture matters. So make sure we're in alignment. And that's why we do this deep inner work, and we spend time with ourselves to make sure that we are in alignment of what the inner world and the outer world is saying. And in order to do that, we get clear on our values. So we know what to say yes to, what to say heck no to. And then we understand our personality style, our identity, all right, our triggers, our patterns. And this is the work that I help people do in my world. So if you want to know more about this, like, I don't know what my personality style is, I don't know what my values are, let's hop on a call. All right, send me a message. I'm happy to have a breakthrough call with you. I offer free 30-minute sessions, and we could just get to know each other. If it's a great fit to work together, awesome. If not, I'll give you some tangible tactical strategies to move forward, some resources, and I have plenty of people in my world to help you if I can't. So I'm going to point you in the right direction. So send me a message. So that was day one, all about your core, which is the first C in the freedom formula. And the second C is about confidence. So today, tip number one, we're going to set goals, growth goals. Okay. Courageous. How do you describe courageous? The word courageous. I want to know in the comments. How would you describe the word courageous? Someone that's courageous. I know for me, someone that's courageous, they went through some tough stuff and they got through it. And they probably learned some things along the way. And they probably got knocked down a couple times. They probably failed at something. And they kept showing up anyway. And they kept learning. And they kept growing. And they kept leaning in. They kept rolling up their sleeve and saying, what can I do with what I've got? That's courageous. Leaning into the discomfort. That's courageous. Showing up, crawling out of a wheelchair like I did in the middle of my NFL season when I was diagnosed with a really rare form of rheumatoid arthritis. And the doctors put me on all this medication. And I stalked my doctors and they said, no, there's something wrong. That's courageous. Speaking up and not saying the most popular thing in the room, that's courageous. Saying no to medication when you know that it's going to do more harm on your body than good. And there's holistic ways out there to help heal your body from within and work through the mental problems and challenges and the nervous system challenges and the somatic work like I did. That's courageous. So how do you have courageous confidence? We have to work through and bust through the cap that we place on ourselves, the limits that we place on ourselves or other people place on us. So having courageous confidence is this lean in, no cap energy. The cap is off, my friends. The rocket ship is going. The lid is off. So if you're ready to step into your courageous confidence, you have to set some growth goals, the scary ones, and lean in and be willing to be a student, to be willing to have a teacher, to have a tour guide, to have a life mentor, someone that has been further along with you than you, and ask for help. Set a goal that requires you to grow. That's courageous. Not the comfy cozy. Keep trying for me praying. Thank you. Not comfy cozyville. Growth does not come from our comfort zone. Growth comes from uncapped energy. Growth comes from setting those scary, freaking scary goals that you're like, it should scare you a bit. I write down my goals every single morning. My notebook's on my balcony right now, overlooking the ocean, because I wrote in my journal every single day, I will live 10 steps from the ocean. For almost 9 years straight, I wrote that down. The same thing every single day in my journal. It wasn't sexy. It wasn't fancy. But I courageously wrote that down every single day. So when shift hit the fan with my marriage and life flipped upside down, I said, okay, which beach? And I have hundreds of videos of me practicing my 10 steps, walking 10 steps to that ocean. So I courageously had already put myself in that space. So set those goals, even though you're not there yet. Set it so you can emotionally put yourself there and physically feel your body. I've done a lot of work in somatic psychology and somatic approaches to healing and understanding our body and our brain connection. And I'm in my new student orientation. I'm a new student. I'm going back to school. I'm going to have my little, white dry erase board next week on my birthday. I'm a new student. I'm starting my PhD in somatic psychology. And I've learned a lot about the brain-body connection. I'm going to deepen this work to understand that we have to put ourselves somatically in the space to understand, like, you don't know how you're going to feel by thinking your way through something. It seems like a good idea at the time, yeah, but we tell ourselves this story, and a lot of times we tell the story to talk ourselves out of things. So here's my challenge to you. I want you to start to tell stories, to talk yourself into it, even though it's scary. I was living in Louisville, Kentucky, in a beautiful condo in downtown Louisville, nowhere near a beach, but I escaped to the Caribbean every single chance I got. Before that, I was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, freaking cold. Before that, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, cold. Before that, Buffalo, New York, cold. I escaped to the Caribbean every single chance I got. So when the opportunity struck, I said, which beach? And of course, everyone in my world understood when I went to make that decision. They're like, of course, you've been dreaming this for years. It wasn't on accident. So set goals that require you to grow and to step into that next level version of you. And then you ask yourself a question. Who do I need to become to accomplish this very thing? So if you want it, if it's in your heart, if it's placed on you, then it's for you. So who do you need to become to accomplish that? You want to start a business? What do you need? Who you need to become? You want to write a book? You want to be a speaker? You want to be an author? Who do you need to become? You want to be your own boss and get out of corporate America and start your own business like I did? Who do you need to become? It takes a different level energy, different level strategy. And as a business owner, I can tell you, it challenges every single ounce of your soul. And if you haven't been to therapy and you haven't done any inner work, that is the biggest personal development challenge of growth that you can ever have. And it's a daily process, my friends, every single day. Okay, so tip number 1, set a goal that will enable you to grow. All right, it's got to be scary. Have that courageous confidence. And we're going to build on this week. So each day, just take it in. You don't have to do anything fancy. Yesterday, I talked about everything I do is no fancy studio. It's back to basics, my friends, this week. These are small, micro decisions that you get to make. Okay, so tip number 1, set a goal that requires you to grow. Just one. Pick one thing. Write it down every single day. Ask yourself, who do you need to become to accomplish that very thing? What needs to happen? And also what you need to release. I had to have some conversations with me, real talk here, last year. In the military for 22 years and in my marriage, drinking wine every day was kind of a routine. And I had to ask myself some powerful questions. Does alcohol and caffeine have power over me? I need my coffee every day. I need to drink wine while I'm out with friends, or I need to drink wine while I'm baking or cooking. So those are stories that we get to rewrite. And if those things are holding you back, if it's food, sugar, alcohol, snacking, late night, skipping meals, not eating, not drinking your water, not doing the things that are going to make your body as the healthiest, happiest version of you so you can put your 2 feet down with the energy instead of in a fog every day. I didn't know what that was like until I tried it. And now it's incredible. I have so much more energy, and I had a lot before. But now alcohol and caffeine, they don't have power over me anymore. This is part of the work that we get to ask ourselves these questions. And when I've had autoimmune and cancer, and I've been in a wheelchair, and I've been through all of these toxic, abusive relationships and patterns, I said, hang on a minute. I don't want to repeat that. So who do I need to become? What do I need to do differently? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to add into? How can we simplify our life by removing things? And so we can amplify our life by adding in more goodness and more fuel, more good stuff. Okay, so we can make room for the things that we need to become. And so it's a matter of becoming, and that's how we become more confident as we work through these things. Tip number 2, dress for the energy that you want to feel. Y'all, I got my dress, my leopard muumuu today. I did not do my hair, but put a little pop of color on, a little bit of makeup. But I actually sought someone out. Her name is Janice, and she did this assessment of what our type is, what our color type are. And so how do you dress for success for your type and your personality style? And one of them is leopard. I'm like, woo, I love me some leopard. So there's just something about putting on a leopard like shirt or having a leopard bag or this leopard dress. I always felt before I did this assessment that I felt it was just kind of too much. And now I own it because it's part of the fire that's in me. And so today I was feeling a little fiery, and I was like, all right, well, this is how I want to feel. This is how I'm going to dress. So how are your clothing? How can you show up with your clothing to have more confidence, to be in alignment of your personality unapologetically? Y'all, I do not subscribe to those like bad things that like what the current trends are. I beat to my own drum. Whatever is the pop of color, the most unique item, that's what I'm probably going to be wearing. And I used to dim my light. I used to be like, oh, well, I need to fit in. I need to have boring colors. I can't wear my bright pink. Like I love wearing a fluorescent bright pink shirt to events. And for some reason I got out of that. And now I'm like, it's back. So now fluorescent pinks, leopards, green, like olive green or even like teal green, like this color. It's my speaker that I carry around for my workouts. Like this color, as you can see right next to my eyes, my eyes change colors and they pop. And I just feel more vibrant. Okay, so dress for the energy that you want to feel. And sometimes you got to trick yourself. We're not feeling our best. I'm right here with you. Trust me, I'm not feeling my best every single day. So there's certain tricks of the trade so that we can stay consistent. So tomorrow we're going to talk about consistency. But first we got to kind of learn these little simple things that we can do so we can show up in our confident, most courageous, open, beautiful, unique, strong, powerful, determined version of you, ready to take on today's challenges. Okay, so your clothing, your hair, your makeup, if you wear makeup, or maybe you don't. Maybe you've been afraid to wear makeup. Y'all, at my retreats, we do makeup tutorials and posing. I have the next retreat coming up here in Puerto Rico, right next to my house. And we work through this confidence and helping you build this inner confidence and this inner knowing of your strengths and your talents and your gifts and maybe some of your hidden talents and gifts that you've put on a shelf for a while. And then towards the end of the week, you're like, oh, I can pose better. I feel lighter. I feel more confident. I feel like I can pose on camera. I feel like I could wear a bathing suit in front of other people without hiding. I feel like maybe I can wear makeup. And so we get to dress like that next version of us As we become that person, it's almost like a metamorphosis, like a beautiful butterfly, like my wings that I'm flying here, right? So think about the choices that you make with your clothing, with the handbag that you carry, with your shoes. I washed all my shoes the other day. I was noticing that all of my shoes had dirt on them from mud, from hiking, being in the rainforest, teaching on the beach. They were all dirty. And I'm like, that's not a standard. If I have a white sole on my shoe, I should be able to see a white sole. So I took them all, I took bleach and I took them all into the shower and I scrubbed the heck out of all of them. I said, this is my standard. It could be something so simple as that. And it feels so much better. And then cleaning and decluttering your space. These are simple little things to be able to say, okay, what is my standard for who I'm becoming? And ask yourself that powerful question and then take appropriate action in alignment with who you are becoming in that growth zone. You don't have to have it all figured out today. You don't have to be perfect. I'm in my new student orientation, and one of my colleagues yesterday was asking me, or this morning was asking me how yesterday's orientation went. And I was telling him I was feeling a little like some imposter syndrome. I'm starting a PhD and like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. It's been 20 years since I've been in real college. I took some certification programs and obviously my executive coaching and my compassionate inquiry training, which was a year-long intense, like with clinicals and deep work. But this is like, it's at a formal institution and it's a PhD, it has these letters next to it. And it's like this pedestal of a program. And I'm like, am I ready for this? And I started to find myself shrinking. And it wasn't until there was an alumni panel at the very last segment yesterday. I spent most of the day in this orientation wondering if I should drop from the course. I'll be honest. Me too. Like still to this day, I'm still constantly dealing with this tug of war. Okay, so I know that it's never going to go away per se, but we can quiet it using some of these tips and strategies. So on the last session, one of those ladies came up and I asked a question about writing because I'm like, I'm a speaker, but I don't know what I can write in this APA format. Like, what if they're going to scrutinize? They're going to tell me I'm a horrible writer, even though I've written books. Like, that was all the question that came to mind was like, am I going to be able to write good enough? And even to the saying this out loud to all of you is kind of like, I'm like, are you crazy? Right? No, you've written so many books, you speak, you've written curriculum at the Pentagon, you've done so many things. But so often our stories and our brain loves to tell stories and convince ourselves. But this woman came on and she said, you know what? You don't have to have it all figured out today. This is a long-term process. And you don't have to be the best writer. You're going to take writing courses. You're going to learn. You're going to actually read other resources and other writers that are going to teach you how to write as a PhD student. And you're going to learn through the process. And instantly I was like, oh, I get to be a student? I get to be a student. Yeah, I get to be a student. And that was a different story that brought some confidence back to me. Is like, yes, I might be starting a new program. And I lost all the confidence, not all of it, but some of it, parts of it, which can send us into a spiral really quickly. But instantly putting my student hat on, recognizing and taking the load off that I don't have to be perfect. Y'all, I had to apply and get accepted into this program. They wouldn't accept me if I wasn't meant for the program. Right? So, okay, thank you. Yes. And I get to learn through this long-term process. It's a 3-year curriculum and then 2 to 4 years in my dissertation. So guess what? I don't have to be at expert status on day one. Oh. But so often as a recovering perfectionist, we put ourselves in that we have to have everything perfect and we have to show up perfectly and we have to have it all figured out. And if we don't, then we're horrible and we're not meant to do this. And so I just want to share with you, you're not alone. If this is you, you are not alone, my friends. You get to be a student and you get to be coached and mentored and guided as an alumni of many challenges I love to be a life tour guide and mentor to help shorten that time period of self-doubt and overwhelm and help you rise to the occasion, to grab that confidence back, to borrow it, to mirror to you what you're capable of so that you don't have that cap. So this is the work that we do in my programs. And yes, we have fitness as well to help you burn calories and tone and be stronger. And we're going to do a mini workout tomorrow. We're going to do a 5-minute workout tomorrow as part of our session. The rest of it is going to be working out the 4 inches between our ears like we always do. All right. But recognize that the brain and the body is always in motion and it's always telling a story. All right. So this is always a dance. Okay, so tip number 2 is dress for the energy and understand who you're becoming. How do you show up as that next level version of you? What's missing? Who do you need to become? How do you need to ask for help? What do you need to release? And tip number 3, rehearse each and every day. Be a student of who you're becoming each and every day. And we might not get it right every day. So rehearse your future self. I do a lot of mind mapping and scripting. So I actually listen to my script of myself, of my future identity self every single day. And I help my clients do this as well. So if there's a version of you that you haven't quite stepped into yet, and you know that you want to be this person, maybe it's a business owner, an author, a speaker, that promotion, you want to retire, you want to live 10 steps from the ocean like me, whatever it is that you want, no cap, no limits. You get to design the life that you desire. And I help you mirror that and script it and then show up with these little micro decisions each and every day in pursuit of that. So part of this is how do you speak? If you were to think about, if you want to be a business owner, how do business owners speak? If you want to be a speaker on a stage, how do they speak? And how do you speak? And where's that gap? I ask myself that question all the time as I speak all the time. I still have some of this fear come up sometimes. I'm like, okay, well, if I want that next level stage, if I want this next level version of me in my speaking career, I have to put myself out there. I actually have to tell people that I'm looking for stages. I actually have to have the right assets on my website. So I recently revised my website. If you go to crystallora.com, it's got a whole massive facelift. And I've built this whole system and this ecosystem since 2017. I'm about to celebrate 9 years in business. Since 2017, November 1st, I've been building this online business and this ecosystem. And it's really hard to put into words and to feel really proud of your billboard and your system that represents you. Your social media, your presence, how you speak is how people remember you. And people recognize your energy and your posture and how you show up. That's how people remember you. So how do you want to be remembered? So recognize, how do you speak? What is the impact? What is your intention? How do you leave the room? Do you leave it better than you came? Do you leave it people asking like, what the heck was that? And they must be having a rough day. Or, wow, that person makes me feel like I'm on fire. That person makes me feel like I'm capable of anything. Those are the comments that I receive. For those of you who've been in my world, please share. And share how you show up. Do you want to feel inspired? Do you want people to feel inspired when you leave the room? Or do you want people to feel like someone just took their Cheerios? Or that there's fear for the world is ending tomorrow because you watch the news or social media, or like the economy is tanking. Or here in Puerto Rico, I don't have water. Like I have water today, but I spent weeks without water and sometimes without electricity. And there's challenges that we face here in Puerto Rico. And the island life has its perks and its quirks. We can choose to focus on the negative and continue to share that negative narrative, especially with politics and this divisiveness in our world. So how do you impact the world, and what events do you attend? What do you consume on social media? You get to control the algorithm. Oh, it keeps showing me this. You let it. You watch it. You like it. You share it. That's why it keeps showing up. So if you want to be a business owner, if you want to be an inspirational speaker, if you want to change the algorithm, you have to make choices in pursuit of that. If you want to have this energy and you want to be a wellness coach or a speaker, you have to be able to fuel your body properly. I've seen some recent things, people at events that teach a class and then they go smoke in the background. Or they get drunk all night. And then they show up and tell people to be healthy. And I've seen this, and there's parts of me that have lived that. And I've had to ask myself the powerful question: how am I showing up as a role model for others? And I'm not perfect. But if I want to impact the world, helping people live happier, healthier, wealthier, I have to lead by example. And so I have to put myself in that role model mindset and show up as that person that people want to emulate. So think about the behaviors of that future self that you want to become. Step into that. And I'll tell you, when you start dressing like that person, when you start thinking like that person, you start making one decision at a time like that person, you take one action in pursuit of what sets your souls and your goals on fire like that person, you will live differently, you will move differently, you will attract different people, you will have different outcomes. Ask me how I know, because you will have evidence that you are in momentum moving towards that very thing. And then opportunities are going to come your way. I just got an email yesterday from someone I don't even know. I don't even know how they found me. But they said, hey, I have this event, this 3-day event. I want you to be the MC at this event. Tell me what your rates are. And like, hallelujah. I've been telling people that I want to be an MC at events and I want to create these incredible experiences. And of course, I got an email out of nowhere. So within minutes, I created a proposal and an email back. And I said, yes, I would love to support that event. Let's talk about it. Let's hop on a call. Because I put the energy out there and I put myself in this space, but I didn't hide, I didn't shrink. This motion, this dance, this momentum, that creates evidence, and it creates a different energy that allows for more opportunity. And then you lean into the discomfort. I was like, this is what I asked for. And now I get to respond. I'm not fearful, like, well, wait till tomorrow or I'll talk myself out of it. Because some of that did come up and I just went, nope. No. We're going to respond. We're going to respond quickly. A future version of a previous version of myself probably would have waited. Would have talked myself out of it. Would have told myself I wasn't ready for it. Would have told myself I shouldn't charge for it. Would have cut my rates in half. I did that, my very first proposal, minutes before my very first government contract. I cut my rate in half. I already wrote it out and I cut my rate in half, my friends. Thank God I had a friend call me literally 2 minutes before. And I said, yeah, I just sliced my rates. I don't think they're going to accept my rate. Back then it was $100 an hour, where I was like afraid to ask for $100 an hour. In the coaching world, that's a lot. It can be a lot, right? But it's kind of a continuum. And I cut it down to $50 an hour for a full-time position. And this person said, no, keep your rate. Keep your rate. And I did. And I'm so glad I did. And guess what? They would have taken more. But I stuck to that, and that was evidence. And they didn't even question it. They said, I want to pay you for what you're asking for, what you're worth. And so I've had to work through this too. But I was able to respond quicker because I've had evidence. And the evidence doesn't just show up at my doorstep by thinking through it. It comes from taking messy action, courageous action, from going through this mental somersault of leaning into the discomfort, swallowing like all the things that I want to say and just putting it out there. So this is the momentum that breeds the confidence. Okay, so the motivation, the inspiration doesn't just show up and then you just accomplish things. It comes from taking messy action and growing through the hard stuff. Okay, I've been at this a long, long time, and I feel like I'm just getting started in many ways. I'm starting over in a lot of ways. I'm rebranding, I'm reviving. I've learned so much in these last 3 years since the betrayal and me moving here to Puerto Rico. I'm a completely different human right now today than I was 3 years ago. And I can't wait to meet the woman I am 3 years from now as I complete my PhD work and I start my dissertation. So I'm a constant student of my craft, of my body, of my becoming. So be a student of your craft, of your body, of your becoming. That's what's going to generate the momentum, the motivation, the confidence. So today was all about confidence, and it's an inner and outer body experience. So today I want to land with this. What would the healthiest, happiest, wealthiest version of you do today to show up as her or as him, to make one small incremental change, to build the evidence, to build the system, build your nervous system in a space that is no cap, no limits, unstoppable, unshakable, unbreakable, the happiest, healthiest, wealthiest version of you? What is that one thing? Go do it. Dress like her, think like her, act like her, show up as her, go to the event as her, make one decision as her, get into a different relationship, ask for help as her, take one action as her or him. And let me know in the comments what you do. Send me a message when you do. This matters, my friends. And tomorrow we're going to talk about consistency, because when you do this consistently, and you're in alignment of your dreams and your goals and your values and your posture and your identity, you know yourself to the core. You put blinders on, my friends, and you are unstoppable. Rocket ship is on, no cap, no limits. That's what I'm here for. So if you're here for that and you want to join me, send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to cheer you on. I'd love to hop on a call and connect with you. My team and I will be engaging with the comments. So if you catch this on replay, shout yourself out, #replay. Please, please, please share this with at least 3 people that need to hear this. Share this message, because I don't want to be the best kept secret. Y'all know about me. You find out about me by somewhere on the internet or a friend, someone referred you to me. Spread the word, spread the movement, share the movement of being happier, healthier, and wealthier, because this, my friends, is where we're going. We are so disconnected with these devices. Let's connect to ourselves and connect with each other. And tomorrow we're going to talk about consistency, consistently be connected to our dreams and goals and our future self. Okay, so we're going to design our dream day. We're going to do a 5-minute workout. You don't need equipment. You don't even need shoes. Maybe you need a bra. Today, no bra. But tomorrow you're probably going to need a bra, because we're going to move a little bit. Unless you want to let it go, let it flow. Whatever. It's a dance. So we're going to do a little bit of movement tomorrow. We're going to do a little fun flow movement. Nothing too serious. All right. So I want you to understand how your body traps emotions and how it can move through the dance of life, stressors and pressures. All right. So we're going to have some fun tomorrow. Same time, same awesome station. Let me know in the comments what resonated with you, or just please send me a message. Share this on social. Share this with your friends and family members, because the world needs us at our happiest, healthiest, and wealthiest versions of us. Yes or yes? Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.